In this video we will see how we use Update Sheet task. Update Sheet task is used when you want to insert, update or delete record in sheets using workflows. First we will have a look at the Insert option. Let's take a expense management use case. Here I already have an Add Expense form created and I have a expenses sheet where I can capture name, expense amount and expense details. Let us add a workflow to Add Expense form and give a name Add Expense. Open this workflow and select Update Sheet task. Give a task name Add Expenses. Here we need to select a sheet where we want to add record. Let me select Expenses sheet, and since I have to add a record I will choose Insert Record. Using Insert Record will create a new entry in the Expenses sheet selected above. Expenses sheet has 3 columns: name, expense amount and expense details. Value for these columns will be the corresponding unique names of controls added on the Add Expense screen. Click Done and workflow is created. Now I will link this workflow to this Submit button by selecting Add Expense Workflow from this drop-down. Let's preview and enable a Submit Data option to execute the workflow. Enter data, name, amount and details and submit it. Here you can see a new entry with name John and expense details have been added. This is how we use the Insert Record option in Update Sheet task. Let us now see, how do we update records of the sheet using the Update Sheet task. For updating records, we will have to first get a list of records to view. Here I have View Expenses form which has table grid control having a lookup formula to fetch a list of expenses from the expenses sheet. In order to uniquely identify a record we will make use of Unique ID column of this sheet. Now when a particular row of this list is selected we will navigate it to the Update Expense form as shown here. Selected row is then available using the table grid control's unique name.name of the column. Open an Update Expense form where I already have these controls added for editing name, expense amount and expense details. Unique ID control is to uniquely identify the row and can be hidden, and formula used of expense list. Unique ID. Similarly, you can see the corresponding formula is used for name, expense amount and expense details. Add a Update Expense workflow. Open this workflow and select Update Sheet task. Then we will give it a name Update Expenses, and select the sheet where we want to update the records. In our case it is Expenses sheet. Since we want to update a record, let's keep the default selection Update Record. Here, we will have to add a filter which will be applied to all the records of the selected sheet to filter out the list of records based on the filter criteria applied. In our case, we will filter records based on Unique ID. Here you can see various operators available. Depending on the column selected, the different operators can be applied. For example, for text type column these all operators are available, similarly for number type column these all operators are available, and similarly for Boolean type column that is toggle type. We want to do an exact comparison of unique ID, so we will use equal to operator. And the value we will select the unique name of the Unique ID control added in Update Expense form which is Unique ID. Now, if you have more than one filter condition, you can use these or options for having various filter conditions. Use and if you want all the conditions to be satisfied, and use or if you want any one of the conditions to be satisfied. Here you can set a rule in case more than one record is filtered as to which records you want to update. In our case, since Unique ID is unique, there will always be one record only, but in your case you can apply various options: first, last, none or all in case there are more than one record filtered. Here, we need to all the columns of the sheet you want to update. Let's add all 3 columns, name, expense amount and expense details, and set its corresponding unique names of the controls added on screen since we want all of these to be updated. There is this additional property: if this is checked and if there are no records found for the above filter criteria, then you can create a new record entry in your sheet and provide the values to be inserted. Currently this is not required. Click Done and your workflow is configured. Now we will link this workflow with the Update Expenses Submit button. Now I will go to view the expenses form and click on the preview. Here you can see a list of expenses which are added. Let's click on this last record which we added earlier. This will navigate to update the expense form. Here you can see the expenses populated with the formula we applied. Let's update the expense amount to 150 and keep all other details as is and click on Update Expenses. Here you can see the expense amount has been updated from 200 to 150. This is how we update records using the Update Sheet task. Let us now see, how do we delete records of the sheet using the Update Sheet task. Deleting a record is similar to how we update a record of a sheet. First we will need a record to be deleted. Here in the Update Expense form, we have right icon navigation set to Delete Expense screen. Let me open a Delete Expense screen. Here I have a unique ID control added and we will ask a confirmation to the user to delete this expense or to cancel it. Let me hide this unique ID control, and set the Cancel Action button navigation to the Update Expense screen. And for deleting we will have a Delta Expense workflow. Let's open this workflow and select Update Sheet Task and give a Delete Expense task name. Here, we will select the Delete Record option. Below options are similar to one we discussed for Update Record Type. Let's add a unique _ID column and equal to the operator to filter. For filter value we will give a unique name of the unique ID control which is unique ID 1. Below multiple match options can be used in case more than one record is filtered for the given filter criteria. Click on Done and our workflow is configured. Here you can see the unique ID control has a formula for unique name of unique ID control added in Update Expense screen. Let's link our workflow to the Delete Expense Submit button. I have set the screen type as pop-up. We will go to View Expenses and preview it. Let's select this last record which we updated earlier to delete it. It will navigate to the Update Expense screen. Now click on Delete icon and it will ask for confirmation to delete. Select Delete and the Delete Expense workflow will get triggered. And here you can see the record we selected is deleted. This is how we delete records using the Update Sheet task. Thank you for watching. For more videos visit our YouTube page.